Pablo Torre has worked for Meadowlark Media for many, many months now. I have just heard from our new New York studios, Meadowlark's New York studios, them spending 14 minutes trying to figure out why the sound was so tinny and his new show begins right now. Pablo Torre finds out. It is his first episode, even though he's had a couple of fakey episodes where he just gets me and Nina and gets highly questionable reruns and rehash. But now the real show is out, and it debuts today, and our audience needs to support it vigorously, correct?
Yes, please, as vigorously as you can, as vigorous as that tepid applause I know really wanted to. Thank you, Roy. The hash that you referred to, Dan, is elevated hash. It is great. The sneak previews you've been doing, I'm going to do more of that. I came with a lot of thoughts about my show. I want to get to those. I have some Buffett thoughts, though. I've been hearing you guys talk about Elvis and Buffett.
Right.
Okay. I found outlandish what they were suggesting. Prisoner of the moment nonsense. I thought that it was outlandish that they suggested that Buffett will have the enduring legacy of Elvis.
No, look, my standard is how many bank robbers impersonate you. And I don't know if a single Jimmy Buffett impersonator trying to rob a bank, that's the legacy that I want to find out about personally.
More than Margaritavilles, they were arguing that his lasting impression of Margaritavilles in your airport malls will out-endure Graceland.
I think every part of Elvis's body is famous. Every single part of it. And you can imagine emotions it makes. I don't think this is close. But anyway, I digress. Can I play the tease of my show? Chris Cody, executive producer. Can we do that now?
Yep. Here we go. Let's listen to it.
As a first order of business in the creation of this show that you've been talking about for months, it's to embarrass the founder of this company.
Are you somebody who remembers anything about the tapes I'm about to play for you?
You have just told me we're doing the Trump tapes, and I'm like, what is it? What are we doing?
There is this wildly, truly eerie foreshadowing.
Most of the oligarchs were there. There's tremendous wealth, unbelievably beautiful women.
Fire Stugotz. Tell him he's fired.
Well, Stugotz, you are absolutely fired. You don't have it.
I will tell you that right now I am deeply embarrassed. I'm embarrassed listening to my embarrassment. I am legitimately fearing.
Yeah. There's a lot in here. There's some journalism, some investigative reporting. I think Greg appreciates the reporting I did about Dan as a reporter himself. Stugotz had some reporting in this one that I don't want to spoil, Dan, but involves the P tape. It involves like the most explosive aspect of the Donald Trump legend, which you guys accidentally wandered into. And I appreciate you letting me do the thing that you do better than anybody else in sports media, I believe, which is be humiliated in public. And so if I can continue this thread, I have another secret clip from your archive that only I have access to. Chris, if you could play clip number 1 of something that's not in the episode.
Donald Trump with us on 790 The Ticket. Junior, we like to talk MMA on the show. Donald Trump Jr. is involved with MMA.
No,
you got
I
the
forgot
baddest man on
this.
the planet fighting this weekend. Fedor is fighting against Tim Sylvia.
Yes, we do, man. It's going to be awesome.
Wasn't really asking you. I was just sort of introducing you, but okay.
I appreciate the intro then.
You guys became fast friends at that point.
So your first episode, your official first episode is journalistically uncovering my previous palling around with all the Trumps.
Well, hold on. I have a lot of journalism that does not involve any of you guys coming this week. I'm very proud of it. Real investigations, not tongue-in-cheek investigations, but with my tongue still firmly in my cheek. I have a second clip because that one was not done.
How much money's in your wallet right now?
Oh, no.
A couple $100.
That's it.
That's actually a lot for me because I'm a kid of the credit card generation. I charge it all, so I usually don't even have cash, which is usually problematic. But I just got back from Vietnam where I was judging the Miss Universe pageant, which we own. So over there, credit cards aren't as easily accepted, so I had to have some cash.
And how much beautiful beauty fell in your lap at that thing?
Pretty big amounts, but for better or worse, I'm a happily married man, and so can't go on the record for any of those things.
Well, what is the point of that?
I'm a schmuck.
What's the matter with you? You're a Miss Universe.
Listen, it could be. I go back and look back at life and I say, wow, I could have done some things a little differently. But no, it's my wife's awesome and she's great. We have a lot of fun.
But she's not Miss Universe.
Oh no.
She's not too bad. Trust me.
No, I'm not.
Oh, for the love
I
of
trust you.
God.
I'm not saying she's bad. I'm just saying.
How is that more embarrassing than your entire first episode?
I'm a schmuck.
I mean, what's most embarrassing is that Donald Trump Jr. in 2008 was trying to alpha himself up to Dan's level. And Dan immediately got him to betray his wife in like 5 seconds.
I'm a schmuck.
Very poor question asking there. What else can we expect
I'm a schmuck.
from Pablo Torre's Finds Out?
So the YouTube video, our YouTube channel, Pablo Torre Finds Out, we spent a lot of time on. And it's really, this is me saying this very sincerely as I'll say anything. It's
I'm a schmuck.
That part as well. We should use that. I regret not having that in the show now. The YouTube channel is special. We designed this to be basically a weirdo psychedelic TV show as well. And so we're going to look, I don't want to bore you with all of the previews about stuff. I just want you guys to listen to the stuff. So just check it out. You'll see it. It's really good. We're on Apple Podcast. We're a podcast. We're a digital show. We have real good stuff coming Thursday. That's going to surprise you. And Friday, that'll surprise you. Tuesday, we went across the country.
All right, Billy.
What about today?
Billy, you've got the right look on your face. Billy, go ahead. What is he doing? He's turning our show.
We're premiering today. Why are we holding good stuff till Thursday and Friday?
He has turned our show into a promotional vehicle for his new show.
It's a heady play.
In which he's just telling you we've got good stuff next week.
That's right. It's really good stuff.
Later this week,
the week after that. I just got to say, I feel kind of like a dog that they launched into space here. I know New York is a very fancy city. We have a very fancy studio, but building a show for Dan has kind of like been one of those dogs they launch into space. And you're like, I wonder if this dog's going to make it. And the dog sort of barks around and says, subscribe to his podcast. And it looks cool. And hopefully I live.
Mm-hmm. I'm still here.
I want to get to a couple of the sports stories of the day with you. Stugotz, did you see that the New York Daily News reported that Bill Parcells has given $4 million to 20 ex-Giants who are in financial distress?
That is awesome. Big tuna.
Yeah. Good for him.
Is that the money he stole from the Dolphins at the end? With
an Elvis Presley mask on?
Is it guilt money that he paid? That story it is a nice story. It also made me profoundly sad.
Well, Dan, all of these, one of the first real bits of journalism I ever did, which Billy Corbin and I got connected on, was the broke 30 for 30 about how all of these athletes lose their money. And so the fact that Bill Parcells ends up being, and I'm learning this from you just now, he ends up being a substitute for what the players union and what the league does not do, which is provide financial relief to a supermajority of the athletes, their employees who have their bodies and their wallets broken because no one has trained them to do anything. A little weird that Bill Parcells is Robin Hood here in that sense, I guess. But I think I'm in favor of him doing all of this.
There's going to be that 21st player that says, hey, Bill, what about me?
Well, now they all know.
There is one guy out there that's probably like, what the?
Yes, that's exactly what's happening right now. There's one guy. He said no to me. I don't understand.
You get Bill Parcells doing NFL player in financial distress Shark Tank, where they can come to him and propose their own levels of despair to evoke sympathy.
How do you navigate your emotional, morally conflicted stance on we're about to head into another season of great enthusiasm, and we'll stop for a moment if a Damar Hamlin happens, and we'll turn away from the television and then get right back to it the following Sunday?
My favorite part was that they removed end racism from the end zone. Like, we did it.
Yes,
Mission
did. We
accomplished.
did do it. Yes, they're putting something else, right? It's not end racism anymore. Now what are they
I
stenciling
think it says
it?
play football.
Play football.
Oh,
There it is.
wow.
It's perfect.
We're back.
By the way, that's the story, Dan. In so many words, all we want to do is watch them play football. So thank you for finally owning up to the actual morality of this product, which is, don't you just want to watch this? If we put a football on a table, wouldn't you want to watch it? We even need to play it. Just watch a football would be another thing they could spray paint, and it'd also be totally valid.
Where are you on Lucy's blasphemous commentary that Lee Corso needs to be gone from her television?
I think today is probably the funniest show for Lucy to take a stand against old people.
Thank you.
Lucy, why are you so comfortable with this? I don't understand. It shows a fundamental lack of respect for someone who is an aged icon.
No, it shows compassion.
She feels bad for him.
I'm showing him respect. I love his legacy. This is not how it should end.
Lucy,
I want Grace. No, I want the NBC special that Elvis performed when he came back triumphantly in like a red background and like he was like like doing this, like pelvic thrusting. I want Lee Corso to have a final special on TV. If you're gonna send him off, send him out with the big Elvis level ceremony that we can all sort of remember him by before he, I don't know, airlifted out, I guess. I don't know how you.
Excellent.
Oh, wait a minute. What did you just do?
Paper mache, right?
Why are we airlifting him?
Told you.
Not an emergency
airlift. A fun, not a bad.
A fun airlift.
A fair lift.
There are no fun airlifts.
Yeah,
They're emergency.
An airlift means you're in trouble.
You see the helicopter landing near the emergency room. That is not a good situation for anybody involved.
Yeah, it can be fun.
Thank you, Greg.
Yeah.
No one's being airlifted going, wee.
You guys think it's a zip line? You guys think that the helicopter needing to get over traffic in an emergency because someone's leaking out blood? You guys think it's a zip line? It's just a merry delight through our jungle, just where we ride 100 miles an hour. Lee Corso, you've got him in a papier-mâché netting, going 100 miles an hour, airlifted from the game day set to a nearby hospital. An airlift always connotes an emergency.
Wearing the head while being admitted.
I can't hear your sound, Pablo, for Meadowlark Media from the New York offices. Check out Pablo Torre finds out his microphone just crapped out. He will betray the founder of the company with his journalism. I can't believe I am deeply uncomfortable. I can't imagine how embarrassing these tapes are going to be to me.
So good.
When he said Trump tapes, we're going to play you the Trump tapes, I thought he'd fished something out at Mar-a-Lago by the toilets over there, the documents. I'm like, what Trump tapes?
Mar-a-Lago, that's a big fun.
Big fun.
Sorry, what did I call it?
$10.
I want my schmuck.
Airlift Dan.
Die. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. The oceans are all burning and we're all wondering why. Let's turn on the news and find out how we're gonna die. Die.
The monsoons in the American Southwest have not been seen, according to researchers at Syracuse, in 3 million years.
How could you prove that? No one was alive 3 million years
Are you
ago.
a climate change denier?
I'm not. I'm just saying.
People are stuck at Burning Man.
I don't want to be a stick in the mud too soon, but don't go into the middle of the desert.
Well, it never rains there, though.
It does rain, and now people are stuck at Burning Man, but people do like that. Why is it that we like to laugh so much at the festival goers?
They're weird.
Because festivals kind of suck.
Yeah, Burning Man.
They're
especially.
overrated.
What's that all about? I mean,
You go to a festival in the middle of a desert in Nevada, and whatever happens to you, and I'm not going to feel badly for you. That's it.
Oh, come on, wait a minute.
He's right about
somebody
that.
died.
I mean-
wait a minute. Somebody died.
Well, I feel badly for that person.
And
That's
their
where you draw the
family.
line.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers.
And their family?
OD'd, right?
No.
Well, that would be unrelated to the...
There are,
I feel bad for anyone that dies, Dan.
T's and P's.
Lucy, I am worried about you because you continue to stake out a position that is the voice of many, many, many young people to get Lee Corso off of your television set. And it's a controversial take. I think it's a controversial take you have, and you are having it very strongly, more strongly than most.
I talked about this on the show a few weeks ago, and people were really mad at me. After watching this week's College Game Day, I'm doubling down. It was painful to watch him. He's not making sense in what he's saying. He can't enunciate words anymore. Like, it's just time to, like, let him retire. Or force him to retire.
At some point, it is on ESPN, right? Because they're probably just letting him decide. But it's I don't know. There just has to be a way. I'm with her. I'm getting stressed out now every time they go to him because you can see Herbie next to him, like they're being so sweet with him. They're trying to help him, but it's just I'm getting stressed out every time he talks to
I
him.
think the parts where you feel really bad is where he loses his way in a conversation. Like they toss it to him about something, and he's talking about something else.
I think there's a way here to fashion an exit for Lee Corso. We love the guy, but I think
that's always dangerous in sports media, right there.
It's about the fire right.
We love the guy, but is always dangerous in sports media. He can't be doing such an important job at that age. I think it'd be better for him to run for president of the United States against those two White Walkers that are going to be running in 2024. I think that's the age bracket for him.
The remedy to let Lee Corso exit and still keep his sense of being is to have him do the funny paper mache head,
and that's it.
Right. Like he's still
end of the show.
He's still on.
Right.
He's the paper mache head guy. That's going to be his thing.
You know, it's a mascot head.
It's not paper mache.
It's not
know
paper
what you're
mache.
doing.
You
It's
just, you just wanted, whatever. You're all wrong. You're all wrong that I called it. Okay, it should be paper mache.
It should be paper mache.
Lucy, I'd like to get your thoughts
Love
here
paper
because thank you, Stugotz. That's an important thing for you to say.
Big part of my childhood.
That you
Mine too.
love paper
Everybody.
mache.
I did paper mache when I was a kid.
Really?
It used to be a big thing. Yeah. Water, glue, paper. It's a crazy thing to do, but
He's right
anybody
about
know how to spell paper mache? Because it's a funny word, funny thing to spell.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Anybody?
This is gonna be fun. Why don't you spell it for us?
PAPIERMACHE with a little thing on the E.
That was fun.
Yeah, thank you. All right, Lucy, you got the floor.
Thank you so much, Greg. Wow.
No problem.
The IR versus the ER, though,
I don't
is
even
confusing.
remember what we were talking about.
Yeah. Well, and there you go,
Paper
criticizing
mache.
Lee
You were
Corso
being
for doing the same.
unreasonably cruel to Lee Corso.
I'm not being cruel. I'm being nice. Like it is so hard to watch him. Like I want to turn the TV off when he's there because you're watching someone who just they aren't there all the way, and it feels just wrong.
What is the proper way to do this, Stugotz? Because one of the few
Paper
times...
mache.
That would be like an arts and crafts thing.
Yeah.
Lee Corso creates the paper mache head during the show, and then it dries out, and
No
at the
bad
end of the
ideas.
show, he puts it on.
Definitely keep him busy.
Yeah.
I don't know how to allow someone to age with grace when you want to maximum respect them and their contribution to what it is that you've built. He
I'm
is a
doing the best I
mascot.
can.
He is a mascot for the network and for college football, and is someone that is beloved there in the same way Dick Vitale is and gets some of the same criticism. I don't know the right way to honor them once you've got to the flinching portion of their career, but I think there is great grace in trying to allow the person to retire the way that they would like, because that is how we'd all like to be treated by an employer at the end. And what he is covering is not so important that this particular thing matters that much, because the broadcast ratings are the ratings, and whether he's in the middle of it or not, you're either watching ESPN or you're not. But he's not costing them viewers. What he's costing them is, in the social media age, they're getting ripped every Saturday because people don't want, with college football, to see aging in a way that makes them uncomfortable.
We all love Lee Corso, Dan. I think the proper way to do it, and I think what people are upset about is because we love him so much, because he is so beloved, it feels like his employer is putting him in a very, very tricky spot, in a very bad spot for Lee Corso.
He's putting them, by not retiring, he's putting them in a tricky spot.
Well, yeah, and perhaps they're both putting each other in bad spots. I think Greg is kind of
the employer's trying to protect what he wants, Stugotz.
I understand that, but at some point you got to pull him aside and say, Lee, this is becoming embarrassing for you. It's becoming cringeworthy for you.
I would like Stugotz to be treated at the end the way that Lee Corso was treated at the end of his career.
I would say it is costing viewers. I texted a friend about it, and he was like, I'm not watching anymore. Like, I've moved to Big Noon because I can't watch Corso like that.
Because they feel bad for Lee Corso.
I'll watch Urban Meyer instead. Bernie Williams next. He's a 5-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glover, 4-time World Series champion, more postseason. I think this is still true. More postseason RBIs than anyone ever. Why? Because the Yankees were always in the postseason. There were a lot of people on base around him. He was always playing in the postseason, and he had 80 postseason RBIs. Bernie Williams with us.
Also, he's great.
And that too. That too.
Got him being a volume shooter out here.
Also, no, yes, he was great. I thought that I said that with 4-time World Series champion, 5-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glover.
Or he was just hanging around compiler.
All right, Bernie, did I insult you right off the top by calling you a compiler and that all your RBI are fraudulent in the postseason?
Hey, I had a lot of chances, so yeah, that's something to be something to be said about that.
I am curious when we have all of these sports discussions comparing players across eras, because you played baseball during Michael Jordan's time, but no one here is going to say that anyone now is better than Michael Jordan. When you're watching baseball today, Bernie, are you simply confused by how hard all of the pitchers are throwing?
Oh my God, it's just incredible. When I was playing, we have maybe 1 or 2 guys in every team that could throw maybe, 98, 99, and that was kind of a rarity. Mostly the relievers, but now it seems like, 60, 70% of everybody, pitching in those pitching staffs are throwing over 99, 98, 99 miles, even people breaking 100 miles an hour. That was definitely a change.
As a great hitter, can you please explain to the layman in a way that we can understand what's the difference between hitting someone who's throwing 91 and someone who's throwing 101?
Well, you definitely need to get the bat out there a lot earlier. You have to practice your mechanics so you are lightning speed, quick, to get that bat through the strike zone. The flip side of that is that, you're facing a guy hitting 100 miles an hour. That pitch is providing most of the power that you need to hit that ball out or to hit it hard, because you don't have to provide a lot of your power, but you still need to see the ball, and that reaction time, it gets even shorter. It's pretty short when you're hitting a 91 mile an hour fastball, so it's even shorter when you have to react to a 100 mile an hour fastball.
You famously crushed a pitcher who threw total slop, Jamie Moyer. Everything that he threw up there was, 80 miles an hour. Do you remember your your stats against Jamie Moyer?
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the few guys that I remember. I think I'm hitting, 450, something like that. It was just an insane number. I think it was just a function of all the times that I faced him, because I actually faced Jamie through my whole career, including the minor leagues. I mean, I remember facing him, when he was with the Mud Hens, with the Tigers, and several older teams before we became major leaguers. So I had a pretty good idea what he was going to throw. He had a changeup on his changeup. He's not throwing any slower than this, and then there we go. He'll throw probably 60 miles an hour.
In the major leagues, you had 90 at-bats against him. You hit 389 in the majors, and you hit 8 home runs. When you're getting to the park, are you saying to yourself, more than with any other pitcher, I cannot wait to get there today. I'm going to crush this man?
Yeah, I mean, it gives you a little bit of a peace of mind when you are facing somebody that you have had success against. But at the same time, baseball is such an unpredictable game that you never let that affect your approach. You are approaching the game and that particular pitcher as you've never seen him before, and you're going through all your arsenal, trying to be at the top of your game, because they're all major league pitchers, and they're there for a reason, and they can capitalize on your mistakes. So you need to be at the top of your game, whether you're facing Pedro Martinez or Jamie Moyer or anybody in between.
Bernie, who's the opposite? Who's someone that most people wouldn't think of, but you're like, man, that dude, I could never figure him out?
Well, I got a few, man. I get probably Josh Beckett, Norm Charlton back in the day, 95, 94, 95. Josh Beckett with the Marlins in 2003, and when he was pitching with the Red Sox as well. I mean, he was just very hard for me to figure him out. And Pedro Martinez, I mean, that was to me the hardest pitcher that I've ever had to face.
So how does that work when you're going to the park that day, when you know you have to face Pedro? Is it vastly different than when you have to face Jamie Moyer?
Yeah, I think mentally is a little bit different because you go, you try to trick yourself into the opposites. You know, in other words, if you have a lot of success against one guy and you go into the park, you're not really thinking, oh, I got it all made because I know I'm going to crush this guy. You're like, well, this may be the guy that he may have your number. This may be the day that he may have your number. So you better be ready. And then on the flip side, if you have a guy that you haven't really got any success, you trick yourself into thinking, hey, maybe this is the day that I'm going to, get his number. So it's a bit of a mental game that you play with yourself. Try to get ready and not leave anything, leave anything for granted.
Bernie, one of my favorite shows of all time is Seinfeld. You've been on it. Jeter's been on it. Paul O'Neill has been on it. When it was happening, what was the conversation like in the clubhouse when you guys were figuring, oh, wait, you're gonna cameo on the show too?
No, we really weren't talking about a lot of the off season or off the field things. I think everybody had their own stuff, especially after '96, that we actually came into the map as this, kind of underdog team that won it all against all odds, against the arguably one of the best rotations in the game at that time, with the Braves. We were kind of like the darlings of baseball. 18 years, between championships in New York. We had it really good back in those days. The flip side of that is that we had an owner that was almost frowned upon a lot of off the field activities. He wanted us, Mr. Steinbrenner, I'm talking about. He wanted us to really focus on our job on the field, and then have all the other side things kind of kept to a minimum.
Bernie, give us the example, though, of some of the settings that you found yourself in as a New York champion where you couldn't believe who was surrounding you and how interested those famous people were in being in your company. Like, there have to be a number of examples when you guys are running New York at a different time. Baseball was more important back then to the country than it seems to be now. It's become more of a regional sport than when it is that you're playing it. Give us some of the examples of settings that you found yourself in where you were, pinch me, how did I get here?
Yeah, I mean, I have a few, starting with each and every one of those ticker tape parades. I mean, you're talking about a city just pouring, itself out into the city, into the main town in Manhattan. You see cramming, I don't know, 2 or 3 million people in a few blocks, pouring all their love and admiration and cheering us when we won. All of that was just incredible. Going into after '96, me and Tino Martinez went into a Tavern on the Green, a really great, famous restaurant in Central Park. And as soon as we got in, when we sat down, every single person in the restaurant got up and gave us a standing ovation. I was like, wow, that's insane. That is incredible. And then I will be remiss to not to mention 9/11, when we were sort of called upon to kind of give a little normalcy into what was one of the greatest tragedies in this country. And we were part of that process of trying to heal the nation and let everybody know that we were not going to be changing our way of life, because of those circumstances. So, yeah, I mean, I could mention a few, but those are the ones that sort of come to mind.
How about perks like Seinfeld? Things that you had come into your life that you were stunned arrived as an opportunity?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, the Seinfeld thing was just kind of like, sent from heaven, I guess. I had no expectation of that happening ever. Me and Derek Jeter had an opportunity to make a cameo in that episode. And up to this day, I mean, I still see reruns of that. That's just an amazing opportunity to have my 15 seconds of fame on TV on a sitcom. I mean, it's something that will just live forever. So very grateful for that. I also had another opportunity to sort of rub elbows with a celebrity, the Joe Torre's Safe at Home Foundation dinner. I had an opportunity to play side by side with Bruce Springsteen. And he told me, hey, you may be old for baseball, but you're a spring chicken for rock and roll. And with that, we played Glory Days. You know, it was like a duet, you know, 2 acoustic guitars. And it was just one of the highlights of my young musical career, if I could call it that.
Bernie, how hard was it for you to get credibility in the music scene? Because you're serious. You're a serious musician. You studied it. You're accomplished. But I got to imagine at first, the music people are like, okay, here comes this ball player. He thinks he can do what we do.
Yeah, I think that's certainly a double-edged sword, which is something that I have to deal with. But I think that all of those thoughts dissipate when people hear me play. You know, they, you know, as in baseball, everything that I wanted to do in baseball came from the fact that I wanted to be respected by my peers. I mean, I take the accolades of the fans and all the, you know, fame and celebrity, but when it boils down to, you know, deep down inside, a player in the clubhouse wants to be respected as one of the peers, what they call a gamer, a guy that is ready to play, and you can count on in moments of, you know, clutch. You know, you can get that guy out there. He's going to do the job for us. So in music, is no different. You know, you step out there on the stage and you hear the musicians play, and they hear you play, and they can tell right away from the first 2 or 3 notes that you play and say, hey, this guy's a player. This guy is serious about what he's doing. And, you know, the music kind of speaks for itself. So all I needed was kind of like an opportunity to get in the door. And then that has, you know, sort of opened a little bit by, you know, my fame as a Yankee. But once you get into the door, you still got to play. Mm-hmm. And you got to convince these guys that you are not just a hacker, just trying to hack some chords here and there. And expecting to be respected just by what you did before, but you got to put in the work and let them know that, you know, I'm one of you guys, and hopefully you'll accept me as one of them.
What is the most intimidating setting that you have played where you were most scared?
Well, playing those national anthems, man. I've had a couple of circumstances where, you know, it's like a little dicey, you know, you're hanging on a thread, and you know, there's no second chance. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to start over again. So it's a one-time deal that you have to be on point and really on your game. You know, I've had a few where, you know, it's like, wow, man, I'm glad that this is over. But yeah, those probably are the situations that I feel probably most intimidated when you're playing, you know, in front of 50, 60,000 people, and you have that chance to make that anthem and respect it and play it, you know, and have people, you know, get excited about it, you know, and, you know, that's pretty tough and pretty cool.
You have to pick one. Which is scarier, Game 7, big at bat, or Game 7, or playing a national anthem acoustically?
Playing the national anthem on my electric guitar probably is the most intimidating thing, because I have no excuses if I mess up. You know, you can play baseball and you can say, oh, the umpire called a bad pitch on me. That guy was on, you know, I missed this or that. But when that spotlight is on you, on, you know, on that, you know, in that situation, you got to perform, and you have to do it to perfection. That's a pretty high pressure situation.
How good are you at those bongos behind you?
I don't know, man. I have them just to sort of kill the time, you know, when I'm watching TV. You know, I'm a very rhythmic oriented person, you know, having my Latin background and my Latin culture, being from Puerto Rico. So I'm always banging on you know, things, you know, tables, you know, so I keep the bongo so I don't break anything, and I have something that I can bang, you know, have my hands on.
Ayo. Dan, don't do this to Bernie. I can already tell where you're trying to go with this.
I could see them behind him over his shoulder.
Don't do the thing where you ask a guest to do something for you, either dance or play music. He doesn't want to do it. I can tell by the answer.
Can you tell he doesn't want to do it?
I can tell, yes.
Okay, because if he were to talk about tune into lung health while on the bongos, that would be, you know, he's here for a reason. He's here to talk about lung health.
Hey, are you know what? You know, right I'll do this for you. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Yeah, that's how you barter. Let's go.
Yes.
Dan Le Batard pulling.
Yes.
Oldest trick in the book.
All right, go ahead and ask him a question about what he's promoting.
Okay, what are you promoting for us today, Bernie? Because we're thrilled to have you on. He's a 4-time world champion, a 5-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glover, 1998 AL batting champion, and he's hella good at the bongos. What are you promoting today?
Yeah, Tuning to Long Health is a program that I helped create it with Beringer Ingelheim to utilize music, the power of music to deal with, the hardships of dealing with interstitial lung disease. My father died from idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis in 2001, and I've been, sort of having this process of, getting him diagnosed and, the hardships that we went through dealing with his disease. So I am really happy to, be part of this program and promote and raise awareness about interstitial lung disease. It's something that not a lot of people know about.
I was told that the Zoom didn't quite pick up that you were playing a little bit of bongos.
Don't do this
for us.
again. Did
No,
you hear what he
I'm
just promoted?
I was just going to ask him to play us out here, just to quietly play us out. That's all I was going to ask us for. But the
Not
Zoom,
that quietly,
the
though.
Zoom
Yeah, a
is-
little bit louder.
Well, I tried.
A little closer to the mic. Although the visual without being able to see the bongos
Turned
is
on the original sound.
Bernie.
a little odd.
Here we go.
Yeah.
The worst part about it is because we can't see the bongos, it's not clear what it is that he's doing with the lower half of his body.
You can only see my face. Okay, these are the bongos. Right here.
Impressive.
See you later, Bernie. Thank you for being on
Thank
with
you
us,
for
sir. We
having me.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, guys. Take care.